Georgina, let's focus on something really positive. We had a spot of problems with the 2010 Southeast Asia India Golf Merchandise Exposition because of the problems experienced in Bangkok. We had to cancel the event. What's in store for this particular show going forward?
Well, it was sad that we had to cancel. However, we took a lot of things away. We had terrific support. It was a sellout. And that's actually one of the reasons why we couldn't just relocate. We're talking about close to 3,000 square meters there. So it just wasn't something that was easy to find another location that was good for both trade, international visitors and consumers. So the good thing moving forward is that we've had a lot of people who said, no, count me in. We had some people who were undecided because it was the first year who've said, no, sign me up. So they realize as well, I think, given the level of feedback from distributors, from consumers, that there is a real need for this show, for showcasing golf merchandise. Was
there a sense of disappointment on the part of the exhibitors?
Absolutely, especially because we unfortunately had to make that call. It was just before the actual riots, before they had the state of emergency declared, because obviously you and I had been keeping very, very close tracks on this pretty much on an hourly basis. But yes, everyone was very disappointed because they'd all been very gung-ho. They were very much on the verge of shipping all of their equipment, be it from US, Sweden, Hong Kong, from around the world.
So it's back to the drawing boards. What's planned for 2011?
Well, luckily it's not quite back to the salt mines. We still intend to keep it within Bangkok, within the CBD. Very likely to be back at Bangkok Convention Center because it is a glorious location. I mean, I guess that's why as well the riots were there, because they knew that it would be right in the heart of the city. So yes, we still see it happening there. It could be that it gets bigger. I think certainly we've found a lot of support from the trade.
I think in a way, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, we've learned quite a bit about organizing this event. Given the geography that we have to cover, it doesn't really make sense to confine this as a purely trade-only show. Wouldn't you agree?
I have to disagree there, because obviously we had the pre-registration for trade, and by trade I mean not just the typical manufacturers, dealers and wholesalers, because obviously they're very few and far between. We're talking about trade as well in terms of the golf club managers, owners, people who are also looking at bulk buying and distributing as well golf equipment. But even then, we're still talking about a much smaller number if you compare it to something like the PGA show of US. I mean, this is totally different. It's a different kettle of fish. You can't look at how it's done in the States versus something that's done in Asia. I mean, a good example is China, Japan, South Korea, their golf fairs, which are fairly well established. They're a mixture of consumer and trade.
Talking about consumer and trade, will the 2011 show cater for retail?
I think this is where we have learned a lot. Obviously, we originally were thinking, no, it's going to be purely showcase, it will be trade, there will be no retail. But what we learned, there was an awful lot of demand from people, be they be coming from Australia, Indonesia, India especially. They wanted to buy. So listen, this is the ultimate end game. You know, the manufacturers are looking at showcasing their equipment, talking about technology, obviously with the end game of selling. So no, it makes sense to actually have that retail there when you've got a captive audience.
You pulled off quite a coup on your trip to Japan. I noticed that you have established a liaison with the Japan Golf Fair. That's quite a coup, isn't it?
No, that was. You know how things are done in Japan. It's usually slowly, take you 2-3 years, several meetings to really, you know, make any inroads. But no, we went there as a visitor. the first time round, actually took a booth. So it was very good for us as well because we were covering for our various magazines and TV station. But no, I think very quickly the owners of the Japan Golf Fair and the association, which is the Japan Golfing Goods Association, I think they very quickly realized we're not talking about competition. This is a whole different segment. We're talking about 16 nations with, I think we said about 4 to 5 million golfers and growing. So they realize this is a good market to introduce to their members, who are the Japanese golf manufacturers.
Would it be a little premature to start thinking in terms of the Southeast Asia India Golf Merchandise Exposition and the Japan Golf Fair, hopefully amalgamating and forming a super Asia Pacific golf merchandise show going forward?
It's never too early to think about it. I mean, obviously, we need to grow that confidence. We need to understand the Japan market. And it's very good that Japan is really taking an interest as well and coming to understand us. In fact, we had very good relationships. There was also one of the top trade magazines, which is Golf Equipment World. They, I think, are the de facto magazine covering the Japan Golf Fair. So, no, we'd invited them to come along and really understand and look at the different kind of manufacturers, because I think there were a lot who were from Thailand, from New Zealand, from Australia, people that they weren't aware of. Obviously a lot of manufacturing was well taking place in India, but new brands that they hadn't been aware of. So I think it works both ways. We can introduce new manufacturers to Japan, and obviously vice versa, we would like to help them launch some of their Japanese manufacturers within this region as well for Southeast Asia.
So are you accepting bookings for the 2011 show?
Already. I mean, obviously, with the force majeure clause, very unfortunate that we had to cancel, but no, with that, then automatically people are entitled to refunds. But no, we've already got people saying, no, don't refund it, keep me on the same spot, I'm there for next year.
Okay, folks, they've heard it from the lady herself. The 2011 Southeast Asia India Golf Merchandise Exposition is going to be back, and the dates?
It's going to be, oh, you've got me there now, Mike. It's slightly earlier. We've decided to bring it forward by 1 month. I believe it's, again, the Friday is the 15th to Sunday, the 18th of March, again in Bangkok.
Asian Golf TV. All golf, all day.